You know what? I'm going to go with Gladiators. I think they kind of convinced me to be a much better team than they were at the major. Just kind of the aura that they had. So I think that they got a good draft to ride that kind of confidence too.
All right, well, have to see how it all goes down. Again, we do have some interesting hero choices here. That Sniper, something that they have been playing recently. And then, of course, we've got Boom, though, who's going to be playing his Void Spirit, which he's gotten pretty well known for.
Yeah, this was very much a pick in the draft where they needed to find something that could lane into puck, but also, catch the backlines like the panel was mentioning, but also just open up the fights with the vision, right? If they picked a mid hero that wasn't able to jump, then this Enigma is going to be such a hard game black holing the Sniper when there's no one like leading the charge. So this Void Spirit on Boom, he needs to have a good lane and kind of open up the rest of the initiation for his team.
Looks like we're going to see a bit of a scuffle from this one bounty rune, but Fishman will pick it up. Might end up paying for this, though, with his life. Spin coming out from Duracho. Oh, they're not going to be able to quite finish as Duracho sits very low himself. This is looking very scary. Kataomi getting that first blood, and they'll get themselves a second kill on Tofu. Fishman barely making it out, but he's a survivor.
Yeah, he starts with the stick, right? The extra value of the stick helps him out there. I was so close to wanting to like hype up CM there. I was like, that's why you picked CM. And then they died, all right? So then I held my tongue. Sniper Shrapnel also pretty powerful early on.
I think, we saw this with Brame the other day. Depending on how you decide to skill your Crystal Maiden, you can be very, very aggressive, and you can have these options to have early kills in lane, depending. In fact, we see this little bit of a tri-lane right off the bat. Fishman's going to put a little harassment over onto Tofu. Tofu's got to be careful. They have a decent amount of nuke damage early on, but it's going to be all right. And I'll be interested to see if they kind of keep this tri-lane going or if we're going to see a rotation.
Knowing Gaimin Gladiators, they'll lock themselves into this lane for a good, 2-3 minutes. If they feel themselves setting up the lane correctly, that's when they'll shift away. But the fact that Ace on his Enigma can free farm top lane, they'll be happy just reaping the rewards across the entire map.
This Clockwork definitely being very useful during the laning phase with the amount of harass that he can output currently. Making things a bit hard for the side Gladiators.
He's against us, yeah, Moxie. He's a 280 move speed hero. Tofu's out of position for 1 second, blinked that barrier assault, half HP. Especially when this, Visage on the side, poking and prodding. Like, surprisingly, this clock actually does really well against this tri-lane. And it's showing, of course.
Oh, this hurts Ace quite a bit. No regen left on him. Does get bullied from the lane because they realize it is just him. But they are going to try to get a little bit of a revenge over onto Fishman. Throwing out the Nature's Grasp. Look, they have a really nice setup for slows at the very least here, and dealing with, the fact that they have their own very slow hero with this Crystal Maiden.
The main thing here, it looks like Fishman's doing a lot, right? But if you look at the CS, it's still not really farming. It's a juggernaut against the Visage. Jug's inside the lane, easily getting up the denies. 10 denies now, 10 CS. So even though Fishman looks like he's doing a lot on paper, like this lane is practically non-existent. Like Gladiators have crushed this off lane right now. Just look at their positioning. They're just hiding by the trees. They're not doing anything crazy. They've already blocked the pool camp. And Duracho is just doing a really good job controlling the wave here.
That is true. They're getting a lot out of this. Typically when you see these aggro tries, you think, okay, well, they're going to want to try to get these kills. They're going to want to put a lot of pressure. And even though we're not seeing those kills necessarily happen, and we're seeing the supports kind of eating through a lot of this regen, they are making so much space for Duracho here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, and that's because if you look at, top lane, sure, right now, Ace is under a little bit of threat, but it's the fact that Enigma naturally keeps the lane close to his tower. So he himself is having a decent time. They eventually now, after the 3 minutes, like I mentioned, Celery now TP's top to try and recover this lane. But XP-wise, they're pretty happy across the board.
I mean, they didn't end up getting like any kills on Ace. Yeah, he was sitting a little low, had to buy himself some more regen, but he's getting the levels, like you said. That's very important on that on the Enigma. So.
Oh, and Celery now just reveals. I was waiting to see what Celery was going to do there. Like he TP'd up, but stayed in the tree line the entire time. Not able to really do much, to be fair.
Does have to be careful himself, too.
Ooh, kinda. to me, this kind of feels like a shift where Celery's come top to make sure he gets some XP, because eventually Enigma will go to the jungle, and then you want your tree to have, you know, at least level maybe 4 by the 6-7 minute mark, so that he can sit top, protect this tower. So they broke down the tri lane to ensure that they can kind of recover top through jungling.
I think it makes sense, right? Because these are your 2 really big team fight ultimates over on the side of Gaimin Gladiators. So you want to make sure that you have that black hole available when, you know, you've decided that you want to get aggressive, and then also having the overgrowth is going to be very, very important as well for the lockdown. Crystal Maiden also having a big, you know, ultimate, but not nearly as important as the ones that are coming
Unfortunately not. But when it does hit, though, it really hits. Like, they're the bangers, but often it's like 9 misses and 1 hit. So hopefully we get at least 1 good one in this game.
Hopefully she gets enough gold where she can actually get a shard and feel a little bit more useful during it as well.
And a Blink, and a BKB.
Whoa, let's not
and
get too crazy here, okay?
Yo, Philly Stone's kind of broken, all right? Like, we roll the dice. We're getting the items.
Don't you dare talk about Big Boy Philly, as Lacoste and Fox like to say. That is the supports item. Don't ever nerf that, please, God.
Yeah, the patch tomorrow, it's going to be pay to win feature like Diablo. We're going to be able to put an extra 10 quid in and get Philly every game.
Oh my God, though. A little bit of aggression coming out here from the side of Gladiators, hoping to maybe put some pressure down over on Sniper, but Celery is just going to get run down by Kataomi. So Ace will have to move back and play a little bit more conservatively for the time being.
But look at Ace, look at this fat wave coming in. He's like, don't worry, Celery. You died for a good cause, Chief. You have to respect this lane.
Oh, absolutely. And then you look at, like, you know, the Visage lane going on compared to what Duracio's got going down here, too. It's really paid off, that little tri-lane that they did earlier. It's a bit of a dive, though, here in the top lane. Ace, Malphus out. It's going to get followed up, so they'll end up losing Ace, but they might be able to get the kill over onto Pure. Chase down. They'll get Toby, so moves being made by the Gladiators.
No, yeah, honestly, a big win for Gladiators there. The fact that, you know, Visage is not having a good time bottom, you still get the kill there. They're diving top, quick turnaround with Boom TPing in. Like, you kill off 2 cores, and you mentioned this tri lane succeeding. Again, the levels in Visage, it somewhat looks okay because you're kind of in line with the Jug, but the fact that your items are just somewhat non-existent, you've got 13 CS. The lane's never been in a position where you can feel comfortable farming. It is going to kind of catapult Gladiators into this kind of post-laning phase where they can, you know, join up and move around the map, make these smokes. For Entity, they're going to have to rely on, you know, Clockwork and the Puck joining together to connect with a core, whilst, you know, Visage, you know, recovers quite a lot.
You have a Dream Coil getting committed here in the middle lane as the chase is down over on Kataomi. He's gone a bit too far. Stormstormer, he wants his kill on Celery. Oh, but Celery is going to be able to survive it. As now Stormstormer trying to get this final hit off. Does manage to take down Celery, and boom. Not going to be able to quite close the gap just yet.
I went for the TP predict as well with the Resonant Pulse. Uses the scan, assumes he's behind the tree, and it doesn't get him. Yeah, it's kind of what you need to see from Entity there. You need this, you need Stormstormer to kind of, you know, step it up a little bit, because even though the side lanes are a little bit iffy for them, so you need this Puck to start, you know, jumping through the back lines, taking some of the fight.
Oh, just right on the cusp of that cog over there. Almost able to take down Clockwork. Top lane, more pressure being placed on Ace, as he will be the next sacrifice to Entity. And they'll put some pressure on the tower. Taunton, man, they're just going all cylinders right now. The step forward, Celery's here, trying to slow down Stormstormer. Try to orb away. He needs a little bit more damage, and it just seems like Stormstormer managing to get out of a lot of these sticky situations. Bottom lane, though, they will find a kill on Fishman. All right, we've got 10 kills in about 8 minutes right now. Every single lane is battling. They're bloodthirsty. That's what I like to see.
I'm just staying quiet, you know. There's no time to talk, Moxie. Take it away. There's too much fighting happening.
These are the kind of games I like to see, though. I like to see them being active.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Like, both of these lineups, they kind of lean on that brawling aspect where whoever comes out ahead, once the brawling dies down, will be able to kind of position themselves aggressively to take over the rest of the map, right? So this is kind of the critical window of the game to be able to, you know, dominate the next, you know, 10 or 15. Especially for, you know, for Gladiators, they got like a CM, they got an Enigma, they kind of want to do well in their lanes, but
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, just to take a look, we're about out of the laning stage at this point, but you've got 31 denies on Dota2. You've got 17 over on Ace. Like, these guys have been very in control of their lanes. And again, when you have an Enigma, that's about to be expected, but you look at all these other numbers and they don't like match up come to at all, you know?
Yeah, and again, that's where it kind of leans back towards this Puck, the fact that, of course, Puck gets able to farm mid lane and utilize a small camp, about to hit 70 CS. This is the hero that will unlock the game for Entity once you play around. It's why Gladiators, they tried to put some pressure onto mid lane. You know, Storm did eventually survive that gank, but you are seeing Gladiators understand who's going to be kind of the key component for Entity. And Doom, it does work, Doom.
I mean, Stormstormer is making his own rotation, hoping that perhaps he can put in a bit more damage, and Pierre's also here, so they'll find themselves the Crystal Maiden. That'll have to be a consolation prize.
And to be fair for the Doom, right? If the Void Spirit walks south, you know, not going up straight towards that tier 2, he would have get picked off by the Puck into a coil and died, right? So it was like a 50-50. The Doom could have looked cool, or the Doom was wasted. Unfortunately, this time it was, you know, technically wasted, but it was more because of just nice heads-up kind of map movement from the Void Spirit.
I will say the other thing that Entity really has going for them here in this draft is the amount of vision that they can put out, right? Because you've got the Illusory Orb, you've got, you know, the Rocket Flare, you've got Familiars if you want to move them around, depending on which creep you pick up on Doom. They have a lot of ways to get this information and scout out.
Yeah, and that's a really important aspect when you have a carry sniper, because the sniper naturally wants to be positioned perfectly to be able to get the A clicks off, get the pew-pews, and, you know, make sure that you punish them if they get close. And yeah, well, like you mentioned, all the vision aspects that they have, it is going to make it a little bit harder. But that's where Boom comes into play with his Void Spirit, right? He cuts in, he opens up, gets a glimpse of the sniper, that single little bit of vision, bam, that's a black hole, or most likely Juggernaut will have to go for a Blink Dagger in this kind of toolkit at some point, so that we get that double jump as well. But yeah, it's going to be a fun game in these mid-game fights. If Entity are kind of parking themselves underneath their own vision with all the spells that they have as well, this sniper could, in theory, be unkillable.
Now, how much pressure is going to be on Boom with this Void Spirit, right? Because you look at what they have for heroes over on the side of Gladiators, and they don't have great initiators. Not until, you know, you get something like a Blink Dagger or some sort of mobility item. It's going to be a bit difficult for them.
Yeah, I think for them, it's like both teams kind of sit into this point where they will happily farm their own side of the map, and they will be so good at defending their triangle, be it the Puck coil or the Clockwork defensive triangle plays, or the Gladiators, it'll be some overgrowth, some you know, black hole. I think both teams will happily sit back and farm to bridge that issue that you've just mentioned. I don't think they'll be trying to force it too hard and play into the weaknesses of their lineup right now. They are going to be waiting for the Blink Dagger or at least a BKB to kind of cushion that initiation they need.
I just know that, you know, hook shot won't connect. And actually, they cancel out that TP, so could potentially go back in here. It looks like Dota2. He's still standing by the tower. They do have the living armor getting placed down.
He has been parked down here for time.
So careful. I mean, they haven't put any pressure on him really before, so it's about time to see that. And Entity do realize this. They are taking over.
Yeah, this is a rare moment where
area.
your carry's just been... Oh, hold on.
There's a black hole over on 2 on the back lines. Crystal Maiden trying to do what she can here. Toby will fall. They get the leash off over from the side from the Puck. Ace, though, he's still alive. His Sorcerer will fall to Tofu, so that Crystal Maiden coming into hand again. But Dota2 finding Fishman will earn his team another kill.
Yeah, and that was where Entity, they kind of fell victim to not having cheaper stuns and silences. When you had the Black Hole, the CM Ultimate, the Puck had to deal with the CM. The Clockwork luckily was close enough with Battery Assault to deal with the Enigma. But it was the fact that these big resources for your cheaper fights were used on these two heroes. It meant that Gladiators kind of cleared up. You see here, he gets pulled closer towards the Enigma with Battery Assault running, so it cancels that. Puck then has to commit onto the CM, and at that point, it's just kind of clean up for Gladiators. And we mentioned how, you know, Dota2, he hadn't left bot lane for 12 minutes. You come down to the area of the map which is most secure for Gladiators. You try and take a fight. You're probably going to fall victim to them mass TPing in. You can't kill this Juggernaut off. He's unkillable unless you get a Doom pre-spin on him.
Definitely felt like there was a bit of a split, and that's a good point that you made, because, you know, Entity definitely has this kind of a skirmishy lineup, but like you said, they don't have really cheap disables. They don't have ways to kind of cancel out these things. So it is a different kind of a commitment that has to come out of them, not necessarily with the big team fight ultis, but in terms of, you know, being able to counter-initiate.
Yeah, and Entity, they have to itemize for this, like, 17-20 minute fight coming from Gladiators, because if you look at Dota2, he's got Maelstrom into Yasha, Shard, and Quick Buy. If you look at Enigma, he's rushing the Wraith pack. Like, you can see that all the cogs are turning on Gladiators to go, all right, guys, we are playing for this big group up, take a fight, go Roshan, 20 minutes, we dominate this game now. We force them to fight into us.
I'm able to chain Stun Boom here. In fact, they'll even use the Doom. I'll find a nice pick-off.
He really didn't want to use it there. He was like, oh, please. I don't want it. And then, okay, gonna have to do it. He's gonna be able to jump away if not.
I feel like that's definitely well worth it, though, especially because that hero is just so slippery over on the side of the Gladiators. And that also gives them some more room in the top lane. They want to be playing around this Roche area. You can see they put up some nice wards as well on the side of Entity, so definitely worth it, in my opinion.
Just trying to see what's the next. Okay, Celery. Ooh, going for the locket. Okay, all right, all right. Nice extra healing.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We are seeing them try to protect their towers as much as possible, but that Wraith Pact is completed for Enigma now, so it's been kind of the item of the patch. And
that's that there about it being quicker. I believe that is also compared to the support Enigmas. We've seen a lot of support Enigmas rushing it. I know Tiger popularized it at the major. So now we get to see the core Enigma buy even quicker. So hopefully get to see some aggressive plays coming out now. As you see them all, you know, grouping on mid. I mentioned this timing coming out. The whole crew's ready to fight.
Now they do have to be a bit careful because the Doom has finished up that Blink Dagger. Although Fishman finding an opening is going to put the pressure over onto Celery. And Celery will, at the last second, he does end up falling to Sniper. But the pressure is on the mid tower.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And I think you're okay with losing both of those supports. Whether you're on Entity, you know, you weren't able to quite slow them down, but on Gladiators, you do manage to get yourself the tower that you really want. Yeah, the Wraith Pack's out. A little floaty skull boy. Pure on the back lines, fighting tough with the spin coming out over, but then we also have a black hole and Boom's just slicing through people. Dota2 will help out on top. And now Stormer, they do need to have some sort of a lockdown. They don't really have it as they do finally manage to take down Ace, but Pure, he's gonna pay for this, it seems, or is he? Because those bounces are not looking like the luckiest. Everybody's caught in these cogs off the side. They can't get over there into the Sniper, though. It's looking a little bit dangerous now for Boom. This gets clicked down into triple kill, and Celery, Celery, what are you doing, buddy? He really wanted the Sniper, but this is not going to work. It's an ultra kill.
Oh, you play against Sniper, you've got to lock him down. You've got to commit, and kind of Pure, he baited them a little bit there with the, he TP'd out and then cancelled it and just came back in, and vision is key, right? This high ground ward from Entity, it opened up every single aspect of that fight, right? The hook shot initiation at the very start with the clockwork, and then allowing Sniper to get the A clips off. Yeah, we're going to see a highlight here. We need to see it. Dota2, he thinks he's caught him off guard, but Ace hits a beautiful black hole on the back, and at this point, cancel the TP, throw down a shrapnel, beautiful coil, A clips galore. Gladiators can't then suddenly get back into a position where they kill off the Sniper, and everyone's ready to tank the Omni Slash. So it looked really good, but just really nice kind of team shot calling from Entity to get back into the fight and not just retreat.
Those cogs just being perfectly on point as well. My goodness. There it is. There's the ultra kill. Very happy player there. Another fight breaking out, and the Sniper's reign of terror continues. They'll be able to secure themselves the Roche. Don't have that black hole available. It's just difficult for them to get over there because they just don't have the mobility either. So looks like this Roche gonna go right over to Entity. Easy peasy.
Yeah, Entity, they're ready for that big timing that I mentioned. Entity, they rebuttal it, and because they're the victors, they get to move to Roshan. You're now gonna have a BKB on Sniper, an Aegis on top of that. The puck, got a Blink Dagger, Witchblade, like they themselves are now super happy to take the fight to Gladiators. And what looked like potentially a window for Gladiators to get the kind of their entire lineup going has now taken a big hit, and they've now got to play a little bit more split push orientated, got to wait out this Aegis, because they don't really have the tools to kill Sniper twice. They can easily kill him if they have vision once, but they don't have 2 black holes yet. They don't have an Omni Slash and a farm Juggernaut to go, you know, man to man. So very much now it's respect the Aegis, wait out the game, and it's on Entity. They need to make the moves, they need to make the smokes, and to try and just annoy Gladiators a little bit in this next 5 minutes.
These fights are going to be a lot more difficult for Gladiators, like you mentioned. You know, the way that they were trying to be the aggressors earlier. Now they have to be very careful because they have so much mobility coming out from the side of Entity with these Blink Daggers, especially, you know, the Doom having the Blink Daggers is a big one. They've got the BKB and they've got the Aegis on Sniper. So if they do get... Oh boy, yep, there's the Blink coming out from got the Omi, but... do have to be careful because there is, of course, but the follow-up here from Fishman. Good holding there with that Dream Coil. End up losing Fishman, but the CM ult is just doing a decent amount of damage. But she is going to fall as the rest of Entity now. They're chasing Draccio, going back in for the Omni Slash, realizing that Toby's not going to probably be able to survive this, and indeed he is not. They'll go after some of those birds too. So a bit of a weird fight back and forth. 3 down over on the side of Entity and 2 over on the side of Gladiators.
Yeah, if you're Gladiators, you take that every day of the week. Your CM who just by herself into the jungle to D-Ward, gets jumped by the Doom, coiled, but in a perfect little position because, again, the silence was used on Puck, therefore CM Ultimate is free. Kind of opens up a nice little fight. And I mentioned surviving 5 minutes. The best way to survive 5 minutes is to find pickoffs on your opponents to delay them wanting to make moves. So, yeah, Gladiators, super happy with that. And you see from the mini-map, Entity, they really want to push themselves into this kind of top side of the map. They really want to get into the enemy jungle and try and just kind of do something. They've been reacting for quite some time. Now they get the 4-man smoke.
They're going to play around Toby here in this middle lane. Hookshot won't connect, but they do drop the coil. And they've got a silence over onto Boom. They'll be able to finish him off very easily, but they will find the Doom out the side. Then they cancel out the black hole. Still going to end up losing Toby. They've got Fishman and their coils. Looks like they'll end up losing Tofu, but he's already got the ultimate off. Now Zracha chasing forward. They get the silence. The rest of the side of Gladiators, they're on the hunt. They want the sniper. They have to close the gap, and it looks like with the blink coming out here from Ace, they get the spin. This should be finally a kill on Sniper. It's the first one. He's going to be coming up again. Ace, though, is going to fall to Stormstormer on the back lines. They need to just be able to close this gap. There's the BKB Celery. Oh, Celery, he's going to get cut down by the Sniper. Dracho, last man standing here on the side of Gladiators. Stormstormer is just relentlessly chasing after him. But they'll respect the tower. They know what they're here for. And Entity will force out that glyph.
You got to be careful with your Entity. Like, sure, you win this fight because of the Aegis, but the initiation to that, allowing such a good black hole to go off, the fact that your sniper then gets, you know, so easily killed, I think that should be like an indicator for Entity where your next fight that you take, the next smoke that you play around, you can't allow for your positioning to be like this. You have the vision in your toolkit. You have the ability to jump and to pick off Gladiators lineup. Playing just solely into the objective can be a little bit more difficult, and for Gladiators, they're going to look for these plays more. They want to force Entity to hit a tower where they show everyone, right? Because if Sniper's hitting the building, you're going to know where he is. That's where the easy jumps come into play. And the fact that Gladiators kind of survived this first Aegis, which they kind of gave away, and they didn't even lose a tower from it, I think they're going to be super happy with that. And now they're smoked up. Now they're looking for the play. They've overcome a hurdle that they kind of created for themselves, and now they need to kind of get the game back into their ballpark, because this Sniper is getting fat.
It's been hard for them to close the gap, and that was something that they were very concerned about during the draft, right? They're like, all right, well, you know, Boom, he's going to be able to get the jump possibly, but there's been so much that he has to cut through on these lines to be able to get all the way to Sniper. So it has proven to be a bit difficult here. Gladiators will cross the river.
Drachu, though, he's got the Basher now, so he's got the Wind Lace with the Shard, the Phase Boots, super high move speed when he spins. If he ever gets on top of Sniper, the Basher through BKB, it's going to look real good. Gets a Skadi to help get the slows. Then he'll probably go for like a swift blink style to kind of round this item build out, and that'll be where Sniper needs a satanic or needs something to deal with that, because this gap closing that we mentioned, this Jug will be able to be an answer to that once he gets to this final kind of Scardy point in his build.
Look at the way they're playing chicken in this mid lane. They know that there's going to be vision there. And Dracho playing very carefully. Just use that Manta. Hit some of the creeps. And wait.
Good thing for Entity. They had a sentry in the lane already, so they saw the ward get placed. So they're kind of somewhat baiting this ward from Gaimin Gladiators. And now the bait didn't work out. Instant D-ward from them.
Is under attack.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but this CM has a disgusting amount of armor when she ults, right? She gets 20 from the freezing field, plus then the 12 of living armor. That's a 32 armor Crystal Maiden.
That's a
if you're
tank
not
maiden.
stunning her and you're relying on the sniper to right-click her down, it's going to take some time. You know, she got 1600 HP. I'm looking forward to some real tanky Crystal Maiden ultimates.
I mean, you still have to have all these things in place, right? You know, because you've got the ultimate. You have to actually have your tree be paying attention. The tree's got to be paying attention. I'm pretty sure he's got more important things to be doing than putting the living armor on the Crystal Maiden. Maybe not always.
All right. Just be ready when the team fight happens and that living armor on the CMO is the clutch turnaround point. I want you to scream as loud as you can. All right, that's the game-winning play. Mark my words.
I don't think Twitch chat wants me to scream as loud as I can. You can do it though. You can be excited.
I'm ready to voice crack. Hold on. Here we go. All right, yeah, both teams are just parked up right now. They're respecting the fact that at this point in the game, neither lineup really has a kind of gotcha style of kind of component. They need to play more on the bigger team fight. They can't just, unless Puck's finding a single kill, but that's where Gladiators isn't giving them that opportunity. They've got a disgusting amount of vision in the Radiant side. 3 wards parked in the Radiant map, and then themselves playing there. The real question is, Silver Edge complete on Sniper. Will Dyrachyo swap out his wand or Windlace for a dust? Press 1, chat, if he will. Press 2 if he won't. Thank you. That's my chat interaction thing of the day done.
Good work.
Thanks.
The money's in the mail.
15 minutes to see if they did it.
I'm still waiting to see a kill done with Dust. Now that Dust actually does a tiny little bit of damage, I want to see somebody like snipe a kill doing it. I still have yet to see it yet. It'll be dope when it happens.
That's why you need to big brain it. You need everyone on the team to have it, right? Does it apply separately? I assume it does, right? Yeah. Let's assume
damage,
it does.
I believe.
5 players. Yeah, 5 players.
Just everybody
all dusting at the same time. Bam, 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 bam. And then, all right, they're gone.
God, I want to see that. It's not going to happen, but I would love to see that.
We'll play some unranked after Moxie.
Hell yeah.
We'll get it happening, don't worry.
Let's do it. And then we'll get reported by everybody else on our team when we're just constantly buying Dust and throwing it.
Just no items. Just
No
98
items, just
dust.
Dust. Guys, trust me on this. Trust me. He's not even
Wait for the
in this.
That's why I need to remove the cooldown, right? Just. How quick can you click?
It's like the budget Sand King. It's not really a sandstorm, but...
It'd be hype as hell. These teams aren't being too hyped, no. They're just parked waiting for Roshan.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be 1:35, it seems, so... You can see entities already parked themselves in that top portion of the map, as they've been for a while. And they still do have that tier 1 up there, which is a little surprising considering that, you know, I feel like Gladiators would like to have a little bit more control of that top area just because of the Roche potential, but they're smoked up.
Moxie.
Yes.
He bought Dust. The ones are true. The ones are correct. Congratulations, number ones. We got a smoke. Smoke time.
All right. They're creeping. They're looking. And if they're paying attention, they will have seen that. Do you have the gem over on the Void Spirit? Just take down any more of that vision. Entity making their way over to this mid lane. Trying to send the puck, get some information, scout out a little bit. And again, they have plenty of ways to get that vision. But of course, when they're smoked up, you do need to actually send a body. So Puck is the most opportune person to do that with how slippery he is.
Yeah, both teams really respecting the initiation, the vision. Gladiators, they get the high ground ward, they're ready. They've already checked the high grounds. They skip bot wave, they skip mid wave. On the flip side, Entity, they're skipping mid themselves, pushing out top. Kind of both teams mirroring their aggressive positioning to ensure that no team can start hitting a tier 2 or tier 3, forcing that split choice of we need to defend our objective, we need to defend Roshan. So yeah, both teams just really respecting each other, and this mirroring is setting up for a massive Roshan contest as Roshan finally respawns, and both teams are aware.
Oh, the
Familiar and Eidolon in the pit.
yeah, look at the courier. They know exactly where they are now. The question is, how does Gladiators and how do Entity respond to one another? Because you can see the way that Gladiators are playing on the high ground. They're staying separated. They're trying to make sure that they can get this unique initiation that they really need. And while this is going on, too, you can see on the bottom lane, there are creeps pushing into the base, and they have one of those illusions, too, so...
Yeah, that's the good thing from Gladiators. Because they have that Manta, they can push out the third wave that the other teams can't, because normally you can only push out 2. And actually, Entity has a smoke. So that's how you break this kind of the status quo right now from Fishman. Entity, the only team that can actually move from their position and make a move. Oh, nice cheeky quick D-wall from Stormstormer.
Okay, all right. We get the Doom off. This is not looking great for the Void Spirit, so he's going to be the first one to fall as they're finding the opening. The hookshot doesn't connect. The rest of the Gladiators backing off. Stormstormer is up on the hillside as they get the spin off from Dota2. Is looking over to Fishman. There's going to be that black hole holding the puck into place, but he's got an Aeon disc, so it's going to take a little bit more than that. We did get the buyback coming out from Clock. I'm going to follow up over onto the Crystal Maiden. She's sitting so very low, but they'll turn their attention now over to Dota2. He is just all by himself, and they'll clean him up as Celery goes, drops the overgrowth. They get the nice silence because the Void Spirit, he's back in play. He's going to be able to take down multiples over on the side of the Entity. More P just flying back right now. They want to get into this fight. They don't want to give up the Roach. Celery just going to get chased down, though, by one of Toby's birds. And Sniper creeping, following, seeing what else he can get. Still looking. Boom. Running into quite a few people, but he is elusive. Turns back around. They found Pure. He's got the BKB. He's got the spider legs. He's going to be able to go and climb to safety. And he's just hiding. They find the opening over onto Dota2. Can they get the final hit off is the question. He's spinning to win. He's trying to get out of here as fast as possible. Ace showing up, drops the Midnight Pulse, slows them down. Is going to be turned ethereal by Stormstormer and Dota2. He's trying to be patient. He's looking to see if he can re-engage here. But Ace, he is going to fall. And they'll take down that healing ward. They're chasing after Boom. Oh my god, it's a massacre. This Entity now, they have claimed themselves this Roche. There is not a whole lot that the Gladiators can do right here, right now. Not with Boom not having buyback. And the Enigma, I don't think he wants to buy back right now either.
His game was so peaceful, and then it just opened up. I think originally it's all down to Stormstormer and his puck. The fact that he was able to, quickly de-ward that high ground before the start of the fight opens up for Doom to then find Void Spirit, forcing out the buyback. So aggressively, positioned, and Gladiators kept chasing for the sniper, but never able to really connect. And in doing so, this kind of again the A clicks from a distance. And yeah, for Gladiators, they're going to be kicking themselves a little bit there that they weren't able to cleanly connect on the sniper. The fact that they had to rely on a buyback in such an aggressive position where they couldn't then quickly TP in and fight. As you see, Stormstormer just running through everyone now.
I mean, that Aeon disc really, during the black hole, they almost had him. They were so close, but because he had that item, it just took too long. And he's just been allowed to really just run around all over this game because they don't have the super hard lockdown necessary, especially once you take out Boom, which he was initiated on. It was a good eye from Kataomi realizing that this was definitely the moment for him to make the play. Stormstormer poking a little bit. He's going to respect not diving too hard. They do have the black hole over onto Ace, so he's going to drop the Midnight Pulse, just try to clear up this creep wave, perhaps make them a little bit skittish here, but...
Yes, good old high ground hold of Enigma and Treant Protector. One fortification, one living armor, and a Midnight Pulse, please, and then get out.
Now, this sounds like a fast food order, the way that you just rattled that off. It's very impressive.
Thank you. I worked at a restaurant for 5 years. It was very fun.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that explains how good you are.
No, I'm joking now. Weird flex, but okay.
Weird flex, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Even more positioning items, too, coming out from the side of Entity for the Sniper. He's going to have the Hurricane Pike. it's just gonna be, they're having so much trouble getting onto these back lines. Like, what's the best way for Gladiators to approach this?
It honestly feels like you need to get a Blink Dagger on this Juggernaut, and then once Aegis is out, just all in on that fight. Sure, Storm's being disruptive, but if you're the ones with that smoke, if you're able to surprise your opponent, be it Black Hole, be it just the Omni Slash and an Overgrowth, you're going to be able to kill off this sniper. Because it's not like he has a Satanic yet. Sure, he's got a Butterfly, Silver Edge, even the Hurricane Pike, a lot of kind of items to be defensive, but if you get on top, you can get the kills. I think Gladiators, they need to play more for the we will find him, we will kill him, rather than the bigger fights, because unfortunately for them, they were a little bit outplayed in that previous fight through the dewarding of Entity and then the quick punishing of their position.
It is such an expensive...
And the smoke's happening.
They are smoked up. And again, Sniper, they have to kill him multiple times. They do a scan. They have an idea of where they are. And they're doing a wide sweep.
Dire's top tower is under
Entity also smoked. Reveal, Fishman.
Only a clock.
That's their best case scenario here if your Entity is. They see themselves a Crystal Maiden. 4-staff forward. Will protect a little bit longer. The jump here from Kataomi. There's not going to be a Black Hole available, so they'll take out Enigma. The spin coming through here. Crystal Maiden, she was trying to get the dance off, but is going to fall. And they'll follow up with an Omni Slash. Boom, can he finish off? Can they finally get Stormstormer? Yes, they can. They'll go and use that Overgrowth. Zeracho is stuck here over on the side. We'll see the buyback come out from Stormstormer as they'll lose a Boom. The chase is on Celery, trying to hide within his people in the tree line as he's being hunted by Toby. Does have to be careful. They'll get the slow, the nuke, everything they need to cut down a tree as Kataomi will join in and help out.
Again, they were trying to be super cheeky with this smoke, right? They're smoking into an Aegis, to be clear. But yeah, just look at this. The fact that your Enigma, unfortunately, inside the river, Doom quickly jumping on, punishing it. We got to see a glimpse of that Steam ult with the Living Armor, by the way. Wasn't game winning, unfortunately. But yeah, just positioning was key. Once again, Entity just used their heroes perfectly to break down Gladiators.
I have to say, Kataomi has been on point. Like, Stormstormer, obviously, he's very survivable, very good at, dodging and hitting the buttons. But Kataomi, with these initiations and finding the perfect target every time, whether it's Boom, whether it's, Ace, it's been on point, and it's really started these fights off on a great foot for the side of Entity.
Yeah, this position 4 Doom is just doing so much work. Look at it. He doesn't even need many items, right? It's just Phase, Blink, BKB, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all he needs. And in doing that, he's going to open up every fight. It also helps that hitting Black Hole, oh my god, hitting Doom on these heroes, like there's so many good targets. It's not like he's going, I have to Doom this one target, right? He can Doom the Void Spirit, he'll be happy. He can Doom the Enigma, he'll be super happy. Like any of these cores on Gladiators, if he dooms them, they're going to be super comfortable taking a full-on fight.
Definitely feels like an excellent Doom game. I still struggle to close the gap on Sniper here on the side of Gladiators. He's doing so much damage because they just can't seem to break through this wall. And it just feels like a lot of the times they're the ones that, they try to make these initiations and they're just not finding these openings. In fact, more aggression coming out from Entity now. So they'll smoke up and do their own sweep.
Also helps that in that 2 fights ago, they stole the gem. In doing so, that now allowed them to occupy the map with even more confidence. They get to, play. There's no vision. If you look at the minimap from Gladiators, there's just no wards that right now. They've just placed one in the mid lane here from Celery, but they don't have this comfortable high ground ward that they can anchor their fights around, that they can anchor their smokes around and make sure that they have information before making a move. Every move Gladiators have made in the last 5 or so minutes or 10 minutes, it's been kind of like gut feel of they have to be placed here, they have to be positioned here. Let's hope we find a good hero when we smoke, rather than it being a bit more informed. And it's just unfortunately just the way that Dota goes sometimes when you lose your gem so early on.
It's a big risk, big reward. I know you're a big fan of the early gem.
Oh, don't get me started. We could start a podcast on gems alone, Moxie. That's for sure.
Not the type of gems that most people would be expecting, though, honestly.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, wrong chat. Sorry. Both teams have got to that point where they look at this. We've seen this before, right?
I was about to say this is feeling a little bit like deja vu here. So both teams hugging that high ground.
Yeah. And if you're Gladiators this time, you need to be ready for Puck coming in to try and D-ward using that orb. You have one ward available on Tofu. So the battle of this high ground in between these two teams is going to be the key thing to the left-hand side. It's you see both teams pinging it. They're both slowly moving there.
They got the kill on the courier.
They're going for it.
They got the courier, so they know what's coming. So they're baiting here, using that illusion, using the living armor, trying to be like, yeah, use everything on this guy. It's totally me. It's totally me. Stormer though. Teleport. Try to rejoin with the team. This is very it's very scary, I think, if you're the Gladiators right now, because you're going up the high ground. They know you're there, and they're gonna position themselves around the sniper to protect him at all costs. Stormer joining back in too, so.
Entity wins. They de-ward the ward straight away.
Heard a dream coil over here. Oh, it's CM, yep. CM realizing Doom's gonna get used. The BKB was already hit. They'll follow up with some overgrowth and see if they can kind of close the gap. The follow up, the Outlaw chase after Fishman. They're going for pure. They want the sniper. And there's gonna be the buyback coming out from Clockwork. This is not looking good though for Dota2 over here. He's just getting stunned and chained up. He just can't do anything as he's gonna get cut down by Pure. The chase is on over onto Boom. Ethereal Blade coming to play. They gotta just get this Void Spirit out of there, and he cannot do it fast enough. Ace now hiding in the pit. He has to blink out.
Handsome devil, aren't I?
Entity with a very, very nice team fight there. It's putting these Gladiators there on the back foot.
Just the discipline from Entity coming out, the ability to play a certain area and not feel like they have to make moves. They understand that their lineup are the kings at defensive fights. When you're playing with a sniper, if you're smoking into territory, you don't have vision, 9 times out of 10, gonna get jumped, gonna die. So instead, their rebuttal to this is literally AFK, waiting for Gladiators to get bored, and then eventually they find the kills, right? Twice it's worked out for Entity now, and it's commendable stuff for sure.
They definitely know how they want to play this draft, and they're taking their time. They've got a double damage, though, over on Sniper now, which is very, very scary if you're a squishy support like, you know, CM. And even if you're not that squishy, it's still very frightening with the amount of damage he can do. They've got the Swift Blink picked up on him, which is something that I know that Dota2 would love, as Stormer's just poking and prodding over on the side. They'll go for the black hole, but it doesn't do a whole heck of anything. In fact, Ace, he is just getting clicked away. He will melt. And now Dota2, he is just held. Yeah, this is looking real scary. The GG gets called. Gladiators realizing that they just cannot do enough against the side of Entity, not with this lineup.
Whew, yeah, that was